I'm Scott Hamelberg, Coleman National Fish Hatchery project leader, and this is Region 8 Roundup.
Two conservation partnerships involving tribal youth in the Klamath Basin and high school students in California were among 4 U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service partnerships recognized by the Secretary of Interior, Sally Jewell, during a Partners in Conservation Award ceremony. The Klamath Tribal Leadership Development for Integrative Science and Traditional Ecological Knowledge program combined Northern California and Southern Oregon tribal cultural knowledge about local ecology with high-tech capabilities of NASA and other federal natural resource agencies to advance the management of native fish populations. The other Partners Award went to the Center for Land-Based Learning Partnership, where the service and the Center for Land-Based Learning Students and Landowner Education and Watershed Stewardship Program gave high school students the opportunity to take part in a year-long habitat restoration. Students participated in restoration projects such as planting native trees and monitoring plant and wildlife populations. Over the next 30 days, Northern California will be the place to be for bird enthusiasts. 2 birding festivals are happening in the area, and both promise an amazing display of many migratory birds they call the Pacific Flyway home. From January 22nd to January 26th, the 15th annual Snow Goose Festival of the Pacific Flyway will take place in Chico, California. Sacramento National Wildlife Refuge is one of several field trip destinations for this major bird festival. A few weeks later, February 7th through 9th, the 18th annual San Francisco Bay Flyway Festival takes place in Vallejo, California. This festival includes field trips to San Pablo Bay National Wildlife Refuge, and guided hikes on the refuge trails will be available during the festival. In the Delta, an innovative arrangement between the Port of Stockton, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and Antioch Dunes National Wildlife Refuge is increasing the sand dune habitat along the San Joaquin River. Sand that was cleared from the San Joaquin River by the Army Corps of Engineers to clear channels for cargo ships was pumped to the refuge to use in restoring dune habitat. The banks of the San Joaquin River were once lined with sand dunes, but decades of sand mining and development reduced the dunes to a few patches of land along the river, limiting the habitat for the native species. The project was cost-effective for the port because they did not need to haul the sand away for disposal, but instead donated it to Antioch Dunes National Wildlife Refuge. A total of 40,000 cubic yards of sand were brought in at no cost to the refuge. With the Port of Stockton's help and the Army Corps of Engineers' ability to move large amounts of sand, the high dune habitat on the refuge is growing. In fisheries news, the Coleman National Fish Hatchery in Anderson released some 600,000 late fall Chinook salmon into Battle Creek January 13th and 14th. The fish are raised at the hatchery for about 1 year and are typically released from December through early January. The releases are generally timed to coincide with periods of rainfall, which increases flow of rivers, enhancing survival of the fish as they make their way to the ocean. However, a record dry year in California delayed this year's release. As a result of the poor in-river conditions, the service received requests from stakeholders to change the release location from the hatchery to a location lower in the watershed. After consideration, the hatchery, using best management practices, released the fish on site so that salmon could imprint on the location and return to the upper Sacramento as adults, providing Coleman Hatchery future fish to spawn and juveniles to release. That's it for this edition's highlights on Region 8 Roundup. Until next time, I'm Cindy Sandoval.